What is going on, you guys? It's that time again for another Squared Circle collecting chat. This should be episode 5, I believe, Mike. I can't believe we've made it
Five,
5 episodes.
five already. Five already. Crazy.
How things with you, man, up north of the border?
Things are good. Things are really good. Excited for tonight's show. Excited to talk with Ken. I know he's very fluent in the wrestling world, and happy to have him on.
Yep, that's going to be our special guest tonight. Will be Ken Kinsley, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. And then our topic tonight, it's going to be kind of our top 5 tag teams of all time and our opinions. We're not going off of, who held the belts the longest, kind of just whatever tag teams meant the most to you for whatever reason. But
absolutely. And like everything, I think, Garrett, we're probably, like we always do, there'll be some overlapping between Ken's, yours, mine. It's bound to happen. It's bound to happen.
Fact.
Yeah.
But before we bring in Ken and we get to our topic, I wanted to talk about, I believe, before our next episode comes out, I believe Topps Chrome WWE is going to be coming out.
Right.
And shortly thereafter, Topps Finest WWE is coming out. Holy smokes, my dogs are getting crazy. So the significance of the Topps Chrome 2020 coming out is it hadn't come out in 5 years. They haven't done any Topps Chrome WWE in 5 years. So there's a lot of wrestling card collectors that are really, really looking forward to that. And It's not cheap. I actually wrote the date. The release date is November the 4th.
Right.
$1,000 per case on blowout cards. You could probably find it cheaper, and that's an 8-box case. But
right.
I know you and I both like that shine and those refractors and all that. And
absolutely.
Some cool stuff there.
I think it's going to. I think as far as the hobby goers go, that Finest release, that's going to be a big deal. I think it really is. Even for people like ourselves, like you and I we've talked about vintage sets, 80s, 90s, haven't gotten a lot of newer product. I'm kind of excited to see what that's going to look like. If it's anything like Top Finest in the past, it should be pretty cool looking set.
Yeah, I know. I'm super geeked out to see Finest. I would love to buy a case of it, but it's so pricey. That's a case of $775, 8-box case. And
right.
So that's the first time ever for Topps Finest WWE. But hey, you hear?
What is that? I hear something in the background.
Yeah, hang on. We'll go to camera 2 real quick.
Uh-oh.
Hello?
JT?
Listen here. Nobody wants to hear the Colonel Sanders just discovered just for men looking ass with his assistant from Canada over here talking about something they know nothing about.
Who are you talking about?
Last week on the Squared Circle collecting chat, I was called out by She Blinded Me with Refractors. I'm not someone you want to call out. Let's just make that perfectly clear. Especially someone from the not so great state of Oklahoma. You know what they say about Oklahoma, right? Anyone who has any talent there leaves. Just look at your boy, Kevin Durant.
Oh
man.
But you're about to be the Kevin Durant of our fractured friendship. I will be the Russell Westbrook, the player that you admire so much. People will flock to me. I can actually carry this chat.
Oh, shit.
So keep my name out of your mouth, She Blinded Me with Refractors, or else I will blind you with these hands. Take the camera off me. I'm out of here.
Wow.
Yeah,
man, this is getting serious.
There's no room for that crap.
This is getting really serious.
What did he say? Trailer trash for me?
He's something about like hair club for men. I get, like I have my hat. Like
I thought it looked good. These were like rally.
Well, I was gonna say I thought I was co-hosting with Sheamus today. You got the chops, and you got if you just made that red, got your skin a little more pasty, man.
Well, we'll try to cheer this up, man, and bring in our guest here in a minute.
Yeah.
Our guest is Ken Kinsley, Bean's Ballcard blog.
Yes.
Huge footprint on Twitter. He's written articles for Blue and Gold Sport. You've seen them. I mean, I don't know. I have them on all of my social medias, so I get my fix of Ken Kinsley every day.
He's the man from Morgantown.
But let's bring him in.
All right.
Ken, thanks for joining us, brother.
Man, JT comes in and cuts a promo, and I got to follow that up. That ain't even right, man. That is not even right.
Listen, if it goes down in the National, we might have to, like, if there's going to be outside interference, we might be holding you back. Like, he's stepping on your thunder there. You know, I don't know. You guys born or not born in West Virginia, but raised. I know you guys are like that backwoods tough stuff. So you'll bring out the folding chair, the whole bit. So just tone her down, buddy. Tone her down.
Very possible, man. And I watch a lot of wrestling. I'm a master of the swerve. So. And Gary, you said that you get your fill of me on social media. My wife yelled and she sends her condolences.
That's great.
So hey, like I said, man, thanks for coming on. But I guess the floor is yours, man. Tell us kind of your background in wrestling and fandom and all that stuff.
So happy to be here, first of all. So I am kind of in between your guys' ages. I'm a little bit closer to your age, Garrett. But so I was a kid of the 80s. So I started watching in the mid 80s, Hulkamania and, all of that. However, even as a kid, and if y'all have seen my videos or follow me on social media, I've always been a bit of a heel. I liked Honky Tonk Man. I liked King Kong Bundy. Yeah. I liked Iron Sheik. I couldn't stand Hulk Hogan. I hated Hulk Hogan. I hated the Ultimate Warrior.
Right. So you're by default, you're like fan of the heel.
In general, as Jim Cornette would say, he's a heel, mother. Okay.
You didn't have a tennis racket to say that either. You need the tennis racket.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm a large man. I don't do tennis. So, but yeah, so I got into it as a kid. It was just something I started watching with my dad. So I grew up in West Virginia. We didn't have cable, so really only got like the 3 networks. So I'd get like the Superstar show, I think is what it was called, on the weekends. And, when it was Saturday night's main event, we had to go to church the next morning. So I had to go to bed earlier than my normal bedtime. But then they let me up and watch that with Dad. And then I went back to bed. And then I hit those early teen years, like to junior high, and it wasn't cool to watch wrestling. Right. Once I got out of high school, it was cool to watch wrestling again. Exactly. So I kind of got back into it in that late 97, early 98 with, when Sting was hanging out in the rafters and all that kind of stuff, going after Hogan. And watched it hardcore for a few years. I was in college. That was when you had the Monday Night Wars. I would record one and watch the other one, and then watch the other one after it was over. I told work that I had classes on Monday nights, so I didn't have to work on Monday night. I had a buddy that his dad had a scrambler. I mean, I'm sure that the limit of statutes or statute of limitations is over.
Yeah, I think you're okay.
Every pay-per-view at his place, and it got to where it was like 10 people from our little friend clique.
Right.
And then, after college, I mean, it kind of goes off and on because once that competition of the Monday War was over, it get kind of stale. The storylines get bad. I haven't really been watching lately, but y'all kind of got me watching, so I've watched the last couple of Raws. But yeah, I kind of stopped watching because I got tired of Roman Reigns getting shoved down our throats, even though nobody seems to like him.
Yeah. He over
the last 15, 20 years, there's times I don't really remember a whole lot about. I watched even just, like I said, Monday, and there was a couple of guys I had no idea who they were because they debuted last time. I tend to start watching about this time of year, watch WrestleMania, and then I kind of stop.
Yeah.
Because I love the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania is the big show, and then I kind of crap out for about 6 months.
Have you ever been to a show?
I went, my wife surprised me with tickets to Raw probably I don't know 3 years ago. It was either 2 or 3 years ago, and I remember the thing was somebody, I think it was Cena, like calling out. It was Cena calling out the Undertaker, and Undertaker wasn't replying and responding, and it's going to happen tonight while we're no, it didn't happen.
Oh, too bad.
But yeah,
too bad.
I went to that. It's the only one I've ever been to. She and I, we're not a fan of crowds a lot, so don't know how many more I'll go to. But it was really cool to see it, one time in life when you've been watching it, off and on since you were 6 years old.
Right. Yeah, I've never been in person, and that's definitely something I would like my son Landon and I to go to sometime in the near future whenever all this COVID stuff
start letting people in
or what have you. So that's something I really would look forward to doing. Who's like some of your favorite wrestlers?
Oh man, we were talking before the show, and man, I got that list of, we're talking all time. So many. I can't say that I just have one.
Right. I
said I tend to like heels. So King Kong Bundy, Honky Tonk Man, Mr. Perfect.
Yeah.
I liked Scott Norton. He was with the NWO. I thought that guy. I don't know why. I like that guy, but I also like some of the face guys. I've Diamond Dallas Page, Chris Kanyon. Who
so
I don't even know.
A WCW guy, huh? Are you more of a WCW? Did we lose Ken?
No, we just found him back.
Are you more of a WCW guy than WWF back then?
I think then, yeah, once I got, like I said, when I got and started watching again when I got to college, I had cable by that point. I was probably like 55% WCW and 45 WWE, but that was the time when Hogan had gone over. All those guys I grew up with, Macho Man, they had gone over to WCW. Mm-hmm. And so I did kind of enjoy that a bit more, but I mean, I really did enjoy both of them. I mean, to me, that's when WWE was its peak, that Attitude Era.
Yeah. That's no doubt about that.
And that's kind of go back to where I was saying, I kind of get bored in the storylines. They don't really have competition, so they have no motivation. Now, I'm hoping AEW will step up. We'll see how it all goes. But yeah, I mean, that was the best time to be a wrestling fan, at least in my opinion.
Right.
And I think there's something you touched on too, Ken, which is really important, is there are always segments in your life that you are a fan of it. And you're absolutely right. Through your high school days when you're supposed to be maturing and stuff, I was the same way. I still watched it, but I was like that closet fan. I would never speak about it. And then afterwards you find out you got buddies that are watching it too, and you're like, what? Are you kidding me? And it's, you're right back at it. You're watching, you get caught up in the gimmicks and the storylines, and it's always been fantastic for me. And I think back to my first matches, my dad took me to Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto to watch, and that's back in the 70s. I mean, it was a smoke filter. You could smoke during wrestling and hockey games back then. So wrestling, it's all dark except for the floodlights on the ring, and you just see this haze above the wrestlers, but that's the way it was.
Yeah, and it's funny you talk about how all these people watched it, and that they didn't talk about it. Well, that's kind of what you guys have shown by starting this.
Yeah,
the guys, the YouTube guys that we know that have come out of the water that never talked wrestling. They don't collect wrestling card.
I'm glad you said.
Almost every boy of the 80s, 90s probably watched it at some point if they watched other sports.
Yeah. I think I'm just glad you said come out of the water, because I thought you said it's good to see you guys come out of and I'm like, I paused and you said water and I'm like, okay, good.
I think JT's comment here is perfect, because Mike and I didn't know this. Mike and I have kind of a group of friends that we talk to in StreamYard multiple times a week for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours at a time. Yeah. And when he and I talk to the group, like, hey, we want to start doing this. Next thing I know, like, this guy saying, oh yeah, man, what about this? What about that? What about this?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
we're finding out they're all fans.
No,
and
like, how the heck you knew more than me, and I thought I was the fan. And then another guy in the group chimes in, and we're like, what the hell, dude? Like, all of y'all are freaking wrestling fans. We've been friends for years, and we've never talked about it.
That's exactly it. You find these things out later on, and it's been great actually finding more people. We're getting lots of encouraging words from the people out there in our audience and comments, and it really has been fantastic. We're having a blast with it. So hopefully that'll bring more people out and show their fandomonium for wrestling in general.
I know. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, it's that stigma of people that watch wrestling and the people that think about it. But the reality is, and Mike, I told you this when we talked on the phone a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I've said this for years. I don't watch it to watch the guys wrestling. It's a soap opera for guys.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
So, I mean, and especially during like when I was talking about the Monday Night Wars era, I was just watching for the swerves. I was watching for the interviews, who was going to come in the middle of a match. And about the wrestling. I mean, let's just be honest. It's the storylines. It's truly, like I said, I don't know if anything else I can come up with. It's a soap opera for me.
It's more about the entertainment side of it. Sure, there's guys out there, and that's what Garrett and I have talked about in the past. If you go back on YouTube, you can watch wrestling matches from the 50s and 60s, and the gimmick, the entertainment part, it's not really there. They're all strategic wrestlers. Like, these guys were college wrestlers, and they want to show their Greco-Roman style and what they can do and all that. And it's all great, but it's just evolved in such an entertainment industry, and it's really fantastic.
And a lot of those guys now that are those actual wrestlers or the actual kind of badasses, if they're MMA, they're not even the ones that are that entertaining. They don't have the mic skills. They have the in-ring talent. Brock Lesnar, guys like that. Ronda Rousey, I didn't think was very good on a mic when she was in WWE.
No.
Take Tank Abbott, Ken Shamrock. Those guys were not good on a mic. So they brought something. They just didn't bring the entertainment value.
Yeah, they need a mouthpiece for sure.
Yeah.
I definitely say that this wrestling chat, whatever you want to call it, I still think our name of this thing is terrible, Mike, but
we always talk that it's so long. It's this squared circle.
It has totally changed how I collect right now. Like, I showed the guys my my eBay watch list a couple nights ago, and it was everything was wrestling.
Yeah.
So it's definitely changed the way I collect here in the short term. But with that, talking about collecting, Ken, do you have any wrestling memorabilia or cards or anything?
So one thing I talk about sometimes on Twitter more than like a chat. Sometimes I look at guys now, or collectors, I shouldn't say guys, because there are some hobbyist ladies that are newer, that have these very tight collections. They're very small. They're very nice. So I started collecting in the 80s. So back then, as you guys know, you could collect it all. You could collect every set. You could collect every dang sport. Yeah. So back then, I had a few packs of wrestling cards. So over time, I got a little bit of everything. So I don't have a very big wrestling collection, but I've been into it over time. Most of this has been acquired recently. So if I'm gonna suck up to one of the co-hosts, be down his alley, something that's pretty good with wrestlers is TTMing.
Yes.
Nice.
So I have this guy, and I know I asked Mike about this. I don't know if you guys have found the podcast yet, like the Tony Schiavone podcast that he does with Conrad Thompson, and then Bruce Pritchard, who was Brother Love, does one.
Right.
So some of those are good, but so I got some Tony Schiavone cards,
right,
off of like Sport Lots back in the day.
Right.
When he started doing that podcast,
and Tony was the host of WCW for a while with was it Jesse the Body?
He was with Jesse the Body. He was with Larry Zbyszko. They had a lot of Bobby Heenan was part of it.
Right.
So speaking of Bobby Heenan, before he passed away, I got TTM. Unfortunately, it was later. It was within the last couple years that he passed. So he actually signed the cards on the back.
Right.
You know, it is what it is. I'm not going to lose my mind over it. One that I'm missing that kind of goes along with that is another who has since left us. I got Mean Gene Okerlund.
Did you?
Back in the day. So,
Very nice.
As I was going through stuff, I don't know where the heck it is. I'm the most unorganized hobbyist there is. And then Axe Demolition, because he played football at West Virginia.
Nice. Yeah, that's right. And you're a huge Mountaineers fan. Huge.
Yeah. I've got a lot more I want to send out. Another one to suck up to Garrett here. I got to figure out what I'm doing when I'm looking at the screen. How about a Ginter Mini of Hogan?
That's cool, man.
I found that in a dollar box at a card show a while back. Probably my current favorite character, although he's kind of a different character now in WWE.
That's my son.
Bray Wyatt,
my son's favorite.
Who is the Fiend. So this is technically like a rookie. These were atomic parallels, atomic factors. And this is something I had talked about before. You were getting like 3 of those in the 3-pack cello packs.
Yeah.
Literally going to Walmart, clearing the shelf before clearing the shelf was cool.
Yeah.
Would list those atomic refractors on eBay, and I was making money.
No kidding, eh?
I had one person that bought a lot, but yeah, they were super hot at the time. Bray Wyatt autograph.
Oh man, look at that!
By wrestlers' autographs, if they're guys that have different gimmicks, do they change signature? I don't know how that works. I haven't done enough research. And then Topps in the past has done Topps now for wrestling. I don't know if they'll do.
So what I have seen is they do change their signature. Like Mick Foley has a Mankind signature, a Dude Love signature, signature. So they definitely change their signatures, and you can actually get them authenticated. And then when PSA authenticates them, they don't authenticate a Mankind signature as Mankind. They authenticate it as Mick Foley.
It reminds me of the one on your latest submission reveal.
Yeah, Brother Love.
The Bruce Pritchard Brother Love. So just some other autographs I've acquired over time. Sabu, if you know who he is.
Yeah, very nice.
This guy was on that favorites list. Raven.
Is that from the Leaf set there?
Yes, 2014 Leaf Originals.
Yeah, nice.
Terry Runnels, formerly known as Mrs. Gold Dust. Yeah, she was my favorite of the divas. Another gentleman that has left us, Jim Neidhart.
Jim the Anvil.
The Anvil. One of my current favorites, Big Shep sent this to me. I don't know if you guys follow About the Card show, but he pulled a Miz autograph and sent that to me.
Oh wow!
He's one of my favorites right now. That guy is so underrated. I don't know if you guys know about. I think it's a 97 or 98 Topps WCW NWO set that has a lot of autographs. I only have one of them. I have a Charles Robinson that my friend Wes sent me.
Oh. Yep.
Wes is working on that set, and he is like 20 cards away from having that set. It is a huge checklist.
I think there's Eddie Guerrero's in that set.
I mean, a lot of the guys that are deceased have been in there. Miss Elizabeth is always super expensive. Mr. Kurt Hennig's in there. Macho Man. Yeah, almost any of those guys were in WCW at that time were in it because the checklist was huge on that. And those things go for a pretty penny. This was a referee, and those tend to go for like $25 or $30.
Wow, that's crazy. Just for the referees.
Yeah, for the low end guys, the luchadors that maybe were on like 5 episodes of Nitro, random stuff. I don't know if you guys know Gummy Arts.
Yeah, I've seen those.
So I got the Terry Funk and the Andy Kaufman kind of wrestling.
That's awesome.
I've got 3 total of these cards. The Wrestling All Stars. My buddy Hanson, pre-war cards on Twitter, he sent me those 2 as a kindness. I bought this about a year ago at a local card show. Gino Hernandez graded.
Very nice.
I think I paid like $15 for that. And obviously Gino Hernandez was down here and he was big.
Right.
The last group of stuff I was going to show you. So I tend to hate the manufactured relics. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Yep, little Nate. I don't know how you guys feel about the Manu relics, but Topps has done a good job with some of the wrestling ones. They've done some stinkers, for a lack of a better word.
Right.
I don't really care for this. Just an NWO patch.
Right.
That was gifted to me, so I will always keep that. But
Sure.
they do these belt relics.
Oh yeah, I have seen those.
So,
I have seen them.
So that was Neville there, who's not there anymore. He's in AEW. What do we got here? Sami Zayn, a Miz,
Very nice.
and then Gallows and Anderson, the Good Brothers. This wasn't a good design. That Champions on the top. Then I've got like 4 of the Miz and 4 different Miz one in these whatever you call them.
Very nice. So you've got quite an extensive collection
You have
going.
a collection,
And
man.
one last one I'll show you. You guys will probably like it since I know you're watching again. This guy right here. Braun
Oh.
Strowman.
Braun Strowman.
Very nice.
So they do a good job. I think that's a unique thing that they do with those belt relics as opposed to just like some generic patch or something. But yeah, the only thing I couldn't find was I don't know where my Mean Gene. But that's really all I've got.
Man, you say that's really all. That's a hell of a haul you've got there. That's a great collection.
Think about the fact I've collected for almost 35 years, and think of what I have: baseball, basketball, football.
Understood. Yeah, but I mean, still, hell of a collection. A lot of great signatures there. I'm very impressed with the quality of what you have versus the quantity.
The thing, and I can't remember if anybody, because I know Andy was on with y'all, and I know you guys are newer to it, and I don't recall if Andy touched on it. The wrestling cards in general are very affordable.
Yes.
On the secondary market. Now there are exceptions, like the deceased wrestlers autograph.
Right.
I mean, there are exceptions, and there are guys that have hardcore followings, but in general, it is probably the most affordable sport out there. I would say, other than maybe hockey, but the top, handful of guys in hockey are ridiculously priced.
I can tell you this, Ken. Overall, you're probably right. In Canada, hockey is outrageously priced based on following the market because Canada is so hockey crazed. But yeah, you're probably right that maybe down in the U.S. it might be more affordable compared to the wrestling. I agree.
Well, nobody that's going to compete with a Gretzky, a Crosby, an Ovechkin in wrestling.
Right. Yeah,
you kind of start going down to that maybe second or third tier. Hockey players that, like you said, yes, it's going to be a better market for you up there. But I'm kind of thinking like eBay-ish because that's kind of U.S. and Canada.
Yeah, I think the other thing too, you drop some pretty popular names in the hobby like Lemieux and Gretzky and Ovechkin and stuff like that. But when you start looking at pricing of what I consider the same type of wrestlers in their sport, like the Hogans and the Andres and the Cenas and the Rock, like that stuff can get pricey as well. The same level, but you're right. When it gets to second tier hockey and second tier wrestling, there's definitely a drop off. Definitely a drop off. So.
And a lot less of it too.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, the comment section is definitely saying you have one heck of a collection. So
absolutely.
Thanks to everybody who said that. I don't know. I'm sure there's some other stuff somewhere, but like I said, for someone who's as long as I have, I am the.
My wife just
busted me on eBay. Y'all got a room for me.
I love it.
Well, I mean, my stepson did go to college, so
there you go. I love it. That's great.
I'd like to pick up some of those old wrestling all-stars, but those are pretty pricey, and it's one of those things. The stuff you picked up recently, Garrett, is just mind blown. But it's one of those things where, I talked about collecting so many things. I've collected baseball, football, basketball, hockey, racing, wrestling. Unfortunately, wrestling just kind of drops on the priority, list. And if I'm going to spend money on even a PSA 5 Hogan from Wrestling All-Stars, how many Charles Barkleys does that buy me that I won? Or how many?
Quite a few.
Whoever it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No,
my son is blowing up the comment section like nonstop. Everyone sees Tiffany under it. That's not my wife. She's definitely not writing all that stuff. But my son is. He wants to know. He and I have a hand sign, I guess you could call it, and y'all are going to know what it is. But since we got into this wrestling thing, we always do this to each other.
Right.
We're like, "What's up, bud?" And he's like,
Yeah.
So,
That's awesome. Good
I
stuff.
wonder with this show and just, some of these, we've got 15, 20 people to really get into it. I wonder if legitimately it's caused a spike in the sales of some stuff or other guys picking stuff up too.
Yeah, I think
Because it's such a small hobby for the wrestling that it doesn't take a lot to make prices. And I'm just talking like a 20% jump. Making a $10 card a $12 or $15 card. Definitely, I've thought about that a few times, but I'm not over there in Garrett's stratosphere.
I'll tell you, Garrett's been. I thought I was getting into it, and then Garrett, like off camera, would be like, "Hey, I got this, I got that." I'm like, "What? Like, show me that when it comes."
Look, there's a lot of stuff that had to go in to buy this stuff.
Yeah. And that's like anything in the hobby
that you're sending off to get graded. I was just drooling at those things. I mean, those things almost all, looked immaculate.
Well, that's the whole circle that started this going. Garrett mentioned something about wrestling, and I said, Garrett, I'm not lying. I know in my back room in my man cave, there's a couple of wrestling sets. I don't know where they are. And a couple of days passed, and he's like, "Did you ever find them?" And I said, "Hang on, I'm going looking for them now." And we got on StreamYard, and I was showing him, and he's like, "You got to be kidding!" I had 2 sets of the '87, so I sent him one, and that just started the ball rolling. It just started going. We started looking. Hey, let's do this chat, and it's just kind of evolved from there. So it just takes like one person just to speak of it, and sometimes that just ignites your passion back for it. And
I think the timing's good with all that's going on in the other sports in the hobby and with things exploding, and you can't find this and you can't find that. So I think that the timing has been good for, like you said, you either get bored or you get priced out. Well, you got something else over here that you can come collect now. Garrett's not getting out of his, other autographs, but this is something different. And everything's new and exciting, and makes your eyes get as big as saucers.
That's exactly what it is. It's that new passion, that new developed, or I should say that redeveloped passion that you once had for it, and now here it is again. And it's like, wow, let's get back into it. And we're finding that, the trading card market at least has more than kept us busy looking at this and looking at, have you seen this? Have you seen that? Because I really didn't think there was a lot out there. I thought there was, the newer stuff, but it's been happening for a while. It just hasn't got the notoriety that, the baseball, football, basketball maybe gets in our hobby.
Yeah. And I'll say this before we move on to the topic of tonight's show. I've yet to go to Walmart or Target and not see WWE on the shelf or wrestling on the shelf. Now, it might only be one blaster, like tonight. My wife and I went and there was just one blaster. But it's there. You're not going to find the other big sports. You might find some hockey here down south. So that's that. So going on to tonight's topic is going to be our personal top 5 in no particular order tag team champions or tag team guys. I guess they don't necessarily favorites champions. But tonight's subject was an idea brought to us by Otto Olson, which I've seen. Otto Olson is here watching us tonight. So
he's been on them all. He's been on them all.
Thank you, Otto, for the idea. And that's where we get most of our ideas is from you guys in the comment section of the actual video. Sometimes it's kind of hard to see the comment during the live. So thank you for keeping the ideas going. Since Ken is our guest, Ken, you go ahead and lead us with your top 5, and then we'll go to Mike, and then I'll bring up the rear.
Sounds good.
So, I just wanted to say, I love these. I love that you guys are these top lists, whether it be entrances. When I watched the last show, and it got me into this rabbit hole on YouTube of watching entrances and stuff like that. So I love it, and keep doing it. Oh, and one other thing I did want to say, I remember who my favorite wrestler as a kid was when I said I loved the heels, but my favorite was Ricky Steamboat.
Oh yeah, the Dragon.
That guy could be a bad guy if he tried. So
I know. Good stuff.
So So basically what I did is I started out with a list of tag teams. Started out for my top 5, started out with 17.
That's good.
I was able to cut it to 7 there was that spot where, that natural cut at 7. So the 2 that I had to cut that just missed the top 5 were Demolition, who you saw earlier with the Axe autograph. And, I'm partial to that, but I did review some top tag teams list to make sure I didn't miss any obvious ones.
Right.
And they were up there for a lot of people, so I didn't feel as bad. And then the Dudley Boys.
Nice.
They've been doing it a long time and did it a lot of places. So those were my favorites. So I know you guys don't do any particular order, but because I am a heel and I like to fire people up, I'm going to go in order.
Okay.
Everybody can tell me how stupid I am in the comments, and I will read it later.
It's your choice. There's no wrong answer.
Number 5, the New Age Outlaws.
Nice.
So you talked about a couple of guys that didn't necessarily have the in-ring ability, but Road Dogg with those mic skills, that dude was something else. I mean, they were part of DX. You're talking again, which was in my eyes probably the number 3 click of all time.
Right.
There you go. Here's your other idea: top clicks of all time, clicks groups.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, and during the Attitude Monday Night Wars. So. Number 4, give you a little clue if I kind of do this. Does that help you out?
Is that Anvil Neidhart?
It was Anvil Neidhart, who was one of mine. So my number 4 is the Hart Foundation, Bret Hart and his brother-in-law, Jim the Anvil. And I think probably everybody watching this knows, but Natalia is his daughter, and she's in the WWE now.
So I knew she was related to them. That's Jim's daughter?
Jim's daughter.
Right.
Okay, I didn't know that.
The whole Hart family clan there's like the brother married the sister of this wrestler. They just wrestling everywhere in that family.
They need to get out.
They're second only in that to like the Anoa'i, the Samoan family that like it's got like wild Samoans, but then The Rock is part of that family too.
That's right.
So they're second to only them. So my number 3, I'm not sure if they're in WWE right now. You guys can tell me. Actually, I think one of them is and one of them isn't. But my number 3 is the Hardy Boys.
Yeah,
no, they're in. They're both of them.
They're both there. Okay.
Jeff and Matt.
I tell you what, definitely. I always liked them. Again, Attitude Era and all that. But what I think changed my perception of them was I think it was 2 years ago, WrestleMania, when they came back after being gone for so long. Have you guys seen that?
Yes.
That is one of the loudest crowd responses I have ever seen in wrestling.
Yeah.
Those people just lost their ever-loving minds. And I think it reminded me how good those guys were. And both were very good singles competitors and held a lot of championships.
Yeah, no doubt.
Number 2, give you a little hint here. I'll just do this.
Yep.
The Brain Busters. Or they were 2 of the 4 horsemen. Well, I guess there were actually about 37 horsemen all the time. But Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. And again, I'm biased because these are kind of my favorites, but I am still trying to only pick, teams that are somewhat deserving.
Right.
I love that Arn was born looking like he was 48 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love that he has a body that makes me think I could have been a pro wrestler.
Could have made it.
Not a body guy, and he will laugh. And that man, if you listen to his podcast, he will clown on himself so hard. He has a great personality, sense of humor.
That's fantastic.
I love the Horsemen. I didn't really get to see a lot of them because they were on the downslide by the time I got back in. But love me some Tully. And my number 1, I don't know if anybody in the chat has happened to catch the clue to my number 1 throughout the show.
There we go.
I bought this the night of the Royal Rumble when Edge came back after 9 years away from surgery that he was not supposed to ever wrestle again because he could be paralyzed. My number 1 is Edge and Christian. And I thought that was a stretch. And then I started looking at those lists, and apparently it's not that much of a stretch.
Right.
Yeah.
And you talk about charisma, personality, just in ring, out of ring. And I loved Edge from even before he got with the first night he showed up. He was kind of doing the Sting thing, and he was like hanging out in the upper deck. And they just kept showing him. And then they went to the Brood, and then they went to Edge and Christian, and yeah, just everything.
Fantastic.
Those are my top 5. And after 15 minutes, I return the floor to you guys.
Yeah, that's a good list, man.
It sure is.
I have one of your 5, so
I have
go ahead.
I have one as well. My going.
I'm really right or really wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So if I'm going, I'm going to go from number 5 to number 1, and really number 1 is my only solid choice at that position. Number 5, I'm going to throw it back. I like my vintage wrestling, 1960s and 70s, and I have a soft spot for them because growing up, I used to see them at local wrestling matches in and around Ontario. And that was the Love Brothers. You can see them on YouTube. They have matches through the 60s and 70s. They were the guys, they had long hair. They were like hippies. They had like the psychedelic wrestling tights before Dude Love and all that. And the soft spot is more Reginald. It was Hartford and Reginald Love. Reginald was born in Wales, moved as a young child to Hamilton, Ontario, my hometown, and pretty much grew up here. And he's a local legend. And he just passed away in 2018 at the age of 90 years old. So I remember seeing them so many times. My dad would take me to local wrestling shows. They were a big fan. They were heels, but they were fan favorites. The people loved to hate on them. So that's number 5. Number 4, the Hart Foundation. Again, like you said, Ken, just the Hart family. Brett and Owen's father started, Stu Hart started Stampede Wrestling in Calgary, Alberta. They grew up in that whole wrestling family, and now, the relationships they've developed with, younger kids and siblings and what have you getting into it. They're just, and I loved that they had Jimmy, the mouth of the South Hart, as their manager. He was fantastic.
Yeah, iconic freaking stick man right there.
Yeah. And number 3, actually talking about relations to the Harts, are the British Bulldogs, because I believe one of the sisters of the Hart family is married or was married to one of the British Bulldogs, and I can't remember which one it was.
I think it was Davey Boy.
Yeah, Davey Boy.
Yeah, definitely was.
Yeah,
definitely
and
was.
So there's another connection there. Number 2, and I think it was, from 85 to about 87, I was about 20 to 22 years old, and Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik. And these guys used to come in right in the heart of, USA was number 1, and these guys would come in from a political scene. And Iran, like, they would spit on the flag, and Volkov would sing the Russian national anthem to a chorus of boos just raining down, and it didn't matter. And at the end, it was always like, you say USA, I say Iran number 1, Russia number 1, USA, pooey. That was the Iron Sheik all the time, right? And so it was just great, the political segment that they did. And number 1, I would have to say, I think it's, like we were talking off camera, the Road Warriors, Legion of Doom. They are like number 1. They are the tag team, really, when you look at everything from afar. 31 years they did it. 31 years, ended in 2003, like wrestling in Japan. And they did it all. Those guys, just the gimmicks and the shoulder pads and the spikes. And I think Garrett touched on it in one of our other videos. When they came in riding those Harleys for their entrance at WrestleMania, I think you said, Garrett, that was at Wembley Stadium when they rode in. So they would be my number 1. So yeah, there's my top 5. Again, no particular order, but probably the Road Warriors number 1.
Hey, Mike, I just want to say thanks for throwing one American tag team in there.
Yeah, I know.
No kidding, man.
Hey, we got to give some credence to the
I wondered if they
Canadians.
were all going to be from Canada.
No, not all of them.
So mine is very different than y'all's. So I really have no order, but I'll just start spit firing off what I have written down as number 5 is the natural disasters.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
earthquake and typhoon.
They were great.
Just because like the dudes that they would wrestle would be like this big and they were coming in like this big. And I thought it was the funniest crap ever, man.
They had burritos bigger than their opponents most
The
days.
2 fattest guys in wrestling team up to be earthquake and typhoon, natural disasters.
That's
I love
classic.
it. And that was in 91 and 93, which I kind of got into wrestling like at the end of 92 and 93. So I didn't see a whole lot of that, but I do remember some of it. Number 4 was Money Inc. or Money Incorporated, which was IRS. And one of my favorite guys, $1 Million Man. Same time, that was 92 to 93. So for about 18 months, they were tag team champs or tag team partners.
Right.
Moving on, the Brothers of Destruction, which has Kane and Undertaker. So once again, kind of like the natural disaster, just these 2 monster dudes. Which if you think about the Undertaker's single run that he had for 3 decades and how scary he was, and then Kane and how scary he was, and you put these 2 mega villains together, like holy smokes, man. 2 is probably something more traditional is for this topic, which would be Demolition Axe and Smash, which I read that they held the title for 478 straight days.
Nice.
I thought that was like holy smokes.
They were badass when they came in.
And then my number 1, the ones that I remember seeing so much as a kid, and this was on Ken's list, was the New Age Outlaws, Billy Gunn, the Road Dogg, Jesse James, which both of them were tag teams before with other people. Billy Gunn being part of the Smoking Guns.
Yep.
And then the Road Dogg being with Jeff Jarrett, that's where he was the roadie.
Right.
That's where he got his thing.
Hard on the go.
Yeah. Him out singing his song and stuff. So that's my top 5. Man.
I just wanted to jump in here, Garrett, because I wrote down 3 that I seen earlier come up that I thought were really good. The tag team of Ric Flair and Greg the Hammer Valentine. I seen Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Youngblood. And then I seen Flying Brian Pillman and B. Brian Blair, the Killer Bees. I've seen those guys mentioned earlier on, and I wanted to write those down. And forgive me, I can't remember who said it, but I did see those names come across, so I wanted to bring that in. So
JT says no love for DX. There's just so many.
You know what, JT? Suck it.
Yeah. After you come in here and you cut that on us, dude, suck it, JT. Hey, Ken. So, man, I just want to thank you. Thank you 1,000
Thank you very much.
I would definitely will probably have you in the future because this was very entertaining.
Yeah, like I said,
my job as the host extremely easy. I just ask a question and sit back. So
yeah, like I said, I like to hear myself talk. Y'all watch my videos. You know I can't make a short video. So,
that's okay.
Yeah, JT really had to reel me in on Hobby Palooza. You need to get to the point.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, maybe I will hit him with a folding chair now.
There you go.
Well, Ken, you got anything, brother, before we get you out of here?
No, I think I'm good. I love it. I stayed up past my bedtime, but I had a damn good time.
Well,
Good
thanks,
stuff.
Ken. See you next time, brother.
Appreciate it. That was great.
Man,
He was good. He was good. Very good.
Yeah, very, very good. So we'll go ahead and move on to the pickups and giveaway portion of the show. So are you prepared for the giveaway?
I am. Yeah. I just, do you want to do the giveaway or do the pickups first?
Let's do the giveaway. If you're ready, let's do it.
Okay. So we asked for your favorite entrances, and I'm going to show these on screen now. I've written them down, and you'll see a little bit of a pattern here because I think we've got 7 entries, and 3 of them are all the same. So we have Cards and Things, who said Stone Cold. So I'm going to put him in my hometown Hamilton Tiger Cat hat. We have Todd Richardson, who loved Ric Flair coming in. We had Derek's Cards, who loved the Undertaker's entrance. And again, these guys are the ones who commented after the archive came out. So that's what we went on. And I did these yesterday. So if anyone's commented, in the last 24 hours, I apologize. I just kind of cut it off. We had Josh, Rated Rookie, also loved Stone Cold, Steve Austin. So put that in there. We had Ken Kinsley. Look at that. He had Bray Wyatt.
Nice.
So he put that in there. And then we had our good friend, Otto Olson. He mentioned Sting on a secondary, but his real, his first entry was the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors. So we'll throw him in the hat. And then our last contestant was also Stone Cold. It was Joey H44, Don't Call My Wax Junk, all the way from Atlanta, Georgia, Hot Atlanta. So we're going to put them in there. And the winner is going to get a 1999 72 card set, WCW Topps Nitro base set. And what you can do is I will probably, once I get the winner, I will probably reach out to them through their comments and give them my address or my email. They can email me the address. I'll ship it out to you. Okay.
Great.
So got all 7 in here, not looking, just pulling one out.
Should tell you how easy it is to win this contest. There wasn't very many entries, and it's
Nope.
free stuff. I mean, all you got to participate.
Derek's Cards, The Undertaker. So
There
I
it
will
is.
get in touch with Derek's Cards. He left that comment. I will comment to him, get in touch with me, and give him my email, and I'll get that set off to Derek. So thanks for entering, everyone. Appreciate it.
We're not going to have a giveaway this particular show, but I will tell you in our next show, we're going to be giving away a large lot. It's about 90% complete set of 1991 Impel. So we have these giveaways definitely planned. Just about every episode.
Perfect.
So that's our giveaways. You got any pickups, Mike?
Yeah. So I do. We've got our next episode. I show some are shown on there. So I'm only going to show one pickup here. I haven't done a video for it myself, but it's a biggie in my eyes. It's a 1997 Cardinal WWF the Rock rookie card. Yeah, there you go. The People's Eyebrow and a PSA 6.
Nice.
So I was very fortunate. What I did was, because of the whole shipping thing and me not getting across to my post office in Niagara Falls, New York, I've always asked JT if I could use his address. And actually for this, I actually gave him, I asked him to put a bid in for me. And the fortunate thing was it was ending at about 6:30 or sometime through the night. So I said, this is my bid, put it in. I woke up at 8 o'clock the next morning to a message from JT saying, hey, you won, buddy. And I was tickled pink. So he sent out the package, got it this week. Thrilled to have it. Thrilled to add it to the collection. How about you, Garrett? What'd you get besides everything?
So I got this in today.
Oh, very nice. That's the set I sent you.
Amen. So my son got the hats, and he's been wearing the hats, and this is the set. I haven't even opened it up to look at it.
It's a great set.
Ball game earlier, so I haven't had time to flip through them. So thank you for giving me this. Much appreciated.
No doubt. No doubt.
Next, I picked up an action figure. This is a Elite Collection Series number 77, AJ Styles.
Very nice.
Keep this in the package for now.
Beautiful.
Next, so I can't do a giveaway section without showing off some wrestling all-stars. So I've definitely been big on picking.
Is that Jumpin' Jim Brunzell I seen, the first one?
Sure was.
Yeah, it was.
Dory
Very
Funk Jr.
Dory Funk.
And I can never get enough.
Yeah.
$1 billion.
That's your man. That's your man, Ted DiBiase.
So that's that. I have a ton of cool stuff coming in. But we'll show those off in future videos.
Perfect.
So last thing before we get out of here is we watched a pay-per-view. You watched it live. I watched it live. It was our first pay-per-view that we've seen in decades.
Yeah.
Clash of Titans. So what'd you think of your first pay-per-view?
You know what? There was a lot of people that I didn't know. I have to admit, getting the WWE Network has been fantastic. I am learning about the new wrestlers because, again, my era is a long time ago. But I was really impressed with it. I'd have to say, well, they had about 10 matches. I can't remember the first match. You and I talked. It was really good. It was really first or second match.
I think that was the ladder match.
Yes. And I can't remember the participant.
Hardy Brothers.
Yeah. But
it was a three.
Yes, Sami Zayn.
Yes, that's right.
And AJ Styles. That's what it was.
Yeah, and I think
those were insane.
But I think for me, the match of the night for me personally was the ambulance match between Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. I mean, when they were on the hood of the ambulance, listen, predetermined, scripted, I don't care what you say. Randy Orton picked up Drew McIntyre and body slammed his rear end right across the windshield of the ambulance, and it just shattered. And they had a camera sitting, like obviously it was scripted. Man, throughout the match, you just seen him. There was blood coming out of his back, and I'm like, good God. It was a great match. Won by Drew McIntyre.
Look at his back. Look at his back.
I know. How about you? What was your favorite match?
Well, that was definitely one of them.
Yeah.
And then I feel terrible because I remember our conversation. We talked like immediately afterwards.
Yes.
So everything was super fresh. I remember telling you that I absolutely love the female matches.
Yeah.
And those, I don't know if I'm the only one, man, but the females that they have in WE right now, like kick ass. Like, dude, them chicks move, dude.
They do.
They are every bit of, if not more, entertaining than some of the guys, if not majority of the guys.
Yeah.
Enjoyed that. And then that ladder match that kicked off the show.
Right.
Once again, I don't remember what Hardy boy it was, but like he stood on top of this ladder and was like, and then jumped on this dude who was laying across a ladder. And I'm like, holy smokes, dude. So
that's incredible. Yeah, it was really good. I was really impressed and really happy that I got the dub. And it was kind of cool because we were texting back and forth. Did you see that? Did you see that? And then afterwards we talked about it. It was a blast. We had a blast.
I think the next pay-per-view, WWE, not NXT, but I think the next pay-per-view is Hell in a Cell.
Yeah. No, is it not Halloween?
Halloween.
Oh, no, that's NXT, right?
Yeah, October the 25th. Yeah, NXT's is Halloween Havoc.
Right.
I think the other one's Hell in a Cell. So
look at us, we're just catching right on. We know it now. We know it.
Well, that's it. This is our longest episode yet.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, great participation again. Thank you everyone for commenting and sticking with it. Guys, like I see all the time, I see Ron Fig, Because I'm Carlos, who's going to be one of our guests in November, I believe, Garrett. We've got a fellow Canadian coming in. He loves his wrestling. We could talk about it. Otto Olson, always around to support us. And I see, I've been watching some of these comments, the Media Marauder. This guy, I don't know, but I'm kind of looking, and I thought I read something where he filmed some indie wrestling and stuff. So that's very interesting. And Natsman72, thanks for joining us. talking about Nikita Volkov lived in Concord, North Carolina, near Natsman. So that's really cool, and that's the kind of stuff we love hearing about and love the interaction. That's what keeps us doing it. So fantastic. Yeah. Thank you all.
Yeah, you definitely took all the words that I was going to say. Participation. I don't care if it's one person or 1,000 people.
Right.
Participation in these things are absolutely awesome.
Yeah, they are.
Ron Fig, Otto Olson, Natsman, Media Marauder, JT.
Yeah.
My son in the other room.
Yeah.
Thanks all you guys for writing and participating. That's what makes this fun for all of us.
Absolutely.
So you got anything before we get out of here, Mike?
No, that's all I got. Looking forward to our next one.
Yes, sir. So next time, adios, be safe. Bye-bye. Toodles, y'all.